300 feet beneath your feet right now, there is a machine doing something that defies the laws of nature. It's freezing the Earth solid, not just a thin layer of frost on the surface. We're talking about entire sections of the planet transformed into rock-hard ice before a single shovel ever touches the dirt. Without this machine, the world's greatest engineering feats, the tunnels under London, the skyscrapers of New York, and the subways of Tokyo, would literally collapse into a soup of mud and water. Most machines are built to move things, cut things, or lift things. But this machine has a much more impossible job. It changes the physics of the environment itself. It turns chaos into control, and once its job is done, it disappears without leaving a single trace. This is the story of the ground freezing system, the machine that let us dig where digging was supposed to be impossible. To understand why we need to freeze the Earth, you have to understand the nightmare of the 1800s. Back then, the world was hungry for coal and minerals. But as miners went deeper, they hit a wall. Not a wall of rock, but a wall of water. They would strike quicksand or high-pressure underground rivers, and the moment they breached these layers, the mine would flood. Hundreds of men died, and projects worth millions were abandoned. The Earth was winning. Enter Hermann Putsch. In 1883, this German engineer looked at the flooding water and realized something radical. You can't fight liquid, but you can fight a solid. Putsch's idea was considered insane at the time. What if we stopped trying to pump the water out? What if we just turn the water into a wall? He patented the Putsch freezing method, using primitive ammonia compressors and sheer grit. He proved that if you could pull enough heat out of the ground, the soil would stop acting like a fluid and start acting like a fortress. For the first time in history, the environment was no longer the enemy. It was the material. So, how does a machine freeze a continent from the inside out? It starts with a surgical strike. Engineers drive dozens, sometimes hundreds, of vertical steel pipes deep into the wet soil. These pipes form a precise ice curtain around the future tunnel. At the surface sits the heart of the operation, a massive industrial refrigeration plant. This machine pumps a supercooled liquid, usually a calcium chloride brine, chilled to a staggering -30 degrees Celsius. As this brine circulates, it acts like a thermal sponge, soaking up the heat from the surrounding soil. Slowly, the physics shift. The water molecules trapped between grains of sand begin to crystallize. When water freezes, it expands, locking the soil particles together in a microscopic vice grip. Sand becomes as hard as granite. Mud becomes a structural wall, but the machine must run 24/7. No breaks. It's a constant battle against the internal heat of the Earth. If the machine stops for even a few hours, the ice wall begins to weep. If it stops for a day, the wall thaws, the pressure shifts, and the entire construction site becomes a death trap. This is where the machine proves its power. Once the freeze is established, crews move in. They aren't digging in mud anymore. They are excavating inside a frozen cocoon. Workers use jackhammers to carve through the earth like it's dense rock. Above them, the city continues to move. Traffic flows and skyscrapers stand tall, never realizing that the only thing keeping the ground from vanishing is a silent circulation of sub-zero liquid. In projects like Boston's Big Dig or London's Crossrail, engineers used this machine to freeze the ground under active railway lines. They dug tunnels while 100-ton trains roared just a few feet above the frozen ceiling. It is the nuclear option of engineering, expensive, energy-intensive, and used only when every other method fails. What makes this system truly unique is that it is a ghost machine. Unlike a crane that leaves behind a building, this machine's work is designed to be destroyed. Once the permanent concrete structure is set, the engineers turn the machine off. The pumps go silent. The ice wall thaws, and within weeks, the ground returns to its natural state. If you walked through that tunnel today, you would see nothing but smooth concrete. No pipes, no chill, and no evidence of the massive effort that held the Earth still. It creates a window in time where the impossible becomes possible, then erases itself from the record. So the next time you're in a subway deep under a river, remember, a machine had to come in first and freeze the world solid, just to give us a chance.